Hello, everyone, and welcome to another webinar powered by Royal Cyber. My name is Ali, and I'll be your host and one of the speakers for today. Now, some ground rules for a smoother experience before we begin. If you cannot see my screen or hear me properly, kindly notify me at the chat window on the right side of the pane. Now, during the presentation, you can post your questions and comments in the chat box anytime. Also, there will be a dedicated question and answer session towards the end of this presentation. Your questions will be answered in the sequence in which they are received. Additionally, you can post your questions or write to us for a follow-up information on the email ID shown here, which is info@royalcyber.com. And finally, we would love to hear back from you about today's session by completing a short survey, which will be shared towards the tail end. All right, so in the next 45 minutes, we will discuss how to shield your APIs, which is one of the most important topic every organization is dealing with. The ultimate security for your modern enterprises. Now, let's take a look at the agenda for today. We'll start off by discussing an overview of Secura API or a reason to develop such a product, the evolving API landscape and common challenges faced by every organization, and what are the key components of those API securities, followed by the advanced API techniques that we are going to offer in Secura API as a solution. And finally, we'll demonstrate the solution in action with a live demo, along with an offer that we've brought specially for our audience today in a form of an automation jumpstart package. And we will conclude this with a question and answer session where we would seek questions from you as an audience after listening to this. And you can also discuss your challenges with respect to the same topic. Okay. Now, to present this topic, I'd like to introduce the speakers here. By the way, that's me on the left-hand side. And I manage the middleware practice at Royal Cyber, focusing on helping customers get the best ROI on the digital transformation journeys. And along with me here is one of my great colleague, wonderful friend, and a knowledgeable speaker, Mr. Shamsuddin. Shamsuddin is a senior product manager and an architect and has a tremendous experience in architecting, designing, and implementing new products for our customers globally. Considering the niche in the market and specifically around API security, he has a lot of expertise and in-depth knowledge around this product. Now, first thing first, let's have a glance at Royal Cyber. We're a mid-sized IT consulting and digital transformation company specialized in services, solution, and software. We have over 2,000 plus employees globally. Our headquarters is in Naperville, Illinois, and we have a global presence with offices in Canada, the UK, Australia, and the Middle East. We do have multiple offshore development centers in India and other Asian countries. And our strategic partnership with several technology companies providing best of the breed software and solutions such as MuleSoft, SAP, Salesforce, Microsoft, etc., coupled with business agility and following the Sun delivery model makes a Royal Cyber an obvious choice for our customers globally. We have some of the awards and recognitions as well, like we are an ISO 9001, 27001 certified, plus we have the best employee of the year award as well, and we have some of the other recognitions as well, from different partners. Now, let's talk about an overview of Secura API. So Secura API is our product that has been developed by Royal Cyber under the umbrella of a middleware team who are specialized in working with the customers on the exposing APIs or delivering integration services and stuff like that. So our Secura API engine is at the heart of delivering the robust, comprehensive API security, which can sit on top of any of your API gateway. And built on OWASP 2023 standards, it ensures the top tier protection by performing deep active scanning to identify vulnerabilities in the real time, enabling automated authentication scanning, ensuring no weak access point, seamlessly integrating with any of your third-party systems, specifically AWS, MuleSoft, API Gateway, and open API specifications to enhance security across diverse environments. It also provides swift and precise reports in both web and PDF format, ensuring quick insights into the API health and security. With these advanced features, Secura API helps the organization to safeguard the APIs that are being exposed to their third-party vendors, partners, or customers efficiently, delivering actionable reports in minutes. Now, with the evolving API landscape, the API ecosystem is rapidly expanding, powering innovative applications and enabling seamless integration across platforms and services, which brings flexibility within the system itself. And through that, the combination of microservices and modular architecture come into the picture, where with microservices and modular architecture, organization can be flexible enough to easily adapt to the changes that are needed for the faster development cycles. And then you need security forces as well to ensure that all of these microservices or modular architecture is secured safely. For that, there are certain formats like OAuth 2.0, OpenID Connect, etc., which are part of these open standards, open security standards. So as an API, it is more integral for every organization to expose these APIs securely and following these protocols like OAuth or OpenID Connect to ensure secure access, a proper authenticating mechanism, safeguarding all the sensitive data with a role-based access that will enable organizations to ensure the safety, complexities, and all the vulnerability assessment at the same time. And then the integration between APIs and the cloud computing with neural networks enables smarter and more efficient applications, leveraging AIs to enhance automation, decision making, and overall user experience. So from an evolution perspective, From an evolution perspective, API landscape is quite comprehensive, and Secura API fits within this from a security standpoint very clearly. Now, some of the key components of these API securities includes authentication, authorization, data encryption, and rate limiting. Now, within authentication, when you're going to authenticate someone, you need to ensure that you have the verified users who can access the APIs at any point. And this is very, very crucial. So OAuth 2.0 and OpenID Connect provides robust mechanism for managing authentication, ensuring secure access to API resources. Similarly, for authorization, you can use JWT tokens, which are basically JSON based web tokens that will help managing authorization, determining which roles or users can access specific data and services, providing fine grained control over API interactions. And then we have data encryptions, which are basically being secured through HTTPS mechanism, TLS or mutual TLS based. So API communication needs to be protected both while being transmitted the data or when it is storing the data. So both the mechanism HTTPS, TLS and mutual TLS protocols ensure that sensitive data remains encrypted and secure at all the time. And then using the rate limiting and monitoring, the rate limiting prevents misuse of capping the number of requests a user can make within a time time frame to call that API. So monitoring helps you to detect anomalies or uh, potential securities threats in the real time. So basically, with Secura API, when the APIs are being exposed, all of these parameters are marked checked in order for any organization to expose such an API, or if the API is exposed, it will be able to determine the vulnerability based on which either the API can be put onto a hold or can be fixed before it will be exposed again. And then all of the extraordinary APIs, for example, if you have multiple versions of a same API which is currently on your API gateway, maybe they are live, maybe they're not live, but you would want to know what is the status of it, or you would want to close them. All of this will be done through our platform. And then from the advanced API security techniques, obviously, there are multiple things that are involved. Like, for example, there are AI powered systems continuously analyzing API traffics, patterns, identifying potential threats such as DDoS attacks or unusual behaviors. And then we have these machine learning models that can detect the vulnerabilities and automatically adjust security protocols to neutralize potential risk before they escalate. Now, with that in mind, obviously the entire platform is designed in a way that it covers all of this. Like, for example, zero trust architecture is another thing, which basically assumes that no user or system is trustworthy by default, and this technique ensures that every request, whether internal or external, is authenticated, authorized, and encrypted. So API security is enforced on every transaction to minimize the risk of breaches. So that is another thing. And then we have OAuth 2.1 with dynamic scopes, which introduces dynamic scope validations, allowing for flexibility and context aware access management. So with that in mind, obviously tokens can be assigned based on the real-time user behavior or specific to API conditions that can offer more granular level access control. Then the other thing to that is obviously the advanced rate limiting. uh, so advanced rate limiting will allow the traditional rate limiting to dynamically adjust requesting threshold based on the user behavior and context. For example, users who are consistently follow health traffic patterns are allowed higher limits, while suspicious activities trigger uh, probably different caps. Then within that, uh, we have these token bindings, mutual TLS, two-factor authentication, uh, API sandboxing, behavioral analytics. All of this are going to be part of these API advanced security techniques. So, and that way, all of this will be bundled within our product to ensure that we have all of these API security techniques properly fulfilled and positioned. So what we offer as part of this API solution is a comprehensive API security where we provide end-to-end protection of your APIs, ensuring that every interaction between client, services, and user is secured. Our solution encompasses advanced authentication, authorization, encryption, and monitoring tool to keep your API ecosystem safe from external and internal threats. Then we have the OWASP 2023 standards compliant with this, which means that Secura API ensures adherence to the most current and stringent security guidelines. This helps protect against the top API vulnerabilities such as injection attacks, broken authentication, and data exposure. Then we have deep active scanning. With that deep active scanning, the system across all of your APIs will identify vulnerabilities in real time. This proactive approach allows for immediate identification of potential threats before they can be compromised sensitive data or operations. And then we have within automated authentication and authorization with built-in support for sorry built-in support for industries standard protocols like OAuth 2, OpenID Connect, JWT tokens. So all of this is completely automated within Secura API and provides secure access to control processes. Then we have the real-time monitoring and analytics. So you can gain the insights into the API traffics and usage within the real-time monitoring and analytics. Secura API will help you to detect anomalies, usage spikes, suspicious activities, and provide instant alerts for quick incident responses as well. Then we have multiple connectors available within the system as well. Like we have AWS connector, MuleSoft connector, API gateways, MuleSoft API gateway connector, and then we have a couple of other connectors available in order to ensure that you can seamlessly integrate with your gateways, and all of the exposed APIs can be authenticated, authorized, and secured properly. And then all of these will come as part of the visual risk report that you'll be able to see in the demonstration very soon, where you will see all of these categories of vulnerabilities which we have: high, medium, low, and other actionable items as well. And then on top of that, you can always customize your reporting, and you can scale on cloud or on premise as well. So it is completely flexible, and upon your choice, you can always do it. Now that being said, I'd like to hand this over to my colleague Shams, who is going to demonstrate this application live in action, and then we will come back and discuss on the webinar offer that we have for our audience today. So over to you, Shams. Thank you.
Thanks, Ali. Hi, everyone. Myself, Shamsuddin. Today I'm going to walk you through the Secura API demo. I hope you can able to see my screen. Now I'm hitting a try a scan option and getting into scan. Okay, in Secura you can upload a API specification file, or you can enter your spec URL from here. So Secura supports Swagger file, Open API, and RAML, and it can be any format. It can be a JSON, YAML, or even it can be a text file. So with me I have my test spec URL. Before that I want to show this URL to you. This is my test API with few endpoints for testing purpose. So I'm trying to upload to Secura. What will happen, like, it will, once I hit an upload, it will verify the spec. If it is a valid one, it will return you the host name. So it is performing the API verification and is having completed successfully. And you can able to see the scanning host which is coming from this spec file. Actually it is a valid one actually. So now I'm going to hit a run a scan option. So once I hit a run a scan, what it will do is like it will perform a deep active scanning based on the OAP standards 2023, and will display the list of vulnerability these APIs endpoints are having. So once I hit a run a scan option, it is performing the active scan. You can see the progress. Okay, it has taken only a 3 seconds to complete this scanning because it has having only a few endpoints. So it's showing the high as 2 and medium as 18 and low as none and informational as 1. And it has displayed the vulnerability summary with a severity, description, and the count. The count is nothing but the number of endpoints are having the issues. I like to show you on the XSLT injection. So injection using XSL transformation may be possible and may allow an attackers to read system information, read and write file, or execute the arbitrary code. The other information what is saying like XSL processor vendor name, Apache was returned after an injection request. What is saying like Secura was able to perform an injection using XSL transformation and able to find the backend server is an Apache one. So if I hit on this API, this is the endpoint having the vulnerabilities, and this is an attack performed by Secura on the API. You can see that system property XSL vendor and able to find this backend as an Apache one. So and solution for this is like sanitize and analyze every inputs coming from any client side, and also it has given you the reference for later remediation purpose also. You can use this for fixing your issues. I like to show you to you another demo with uploading with authentication. So now as scanning is done without an authentication. You can see that authentication is not added, but it has performed the active scanning, and result has been stored. The result is stored under the result options. You can view it later here for your analysis purpose. You can view the reports, or you can download it and share it over emails. So I like to show another scanning with authentication. So I have my spec and uploading it. Now I am adding the authentication. Okay. So our authentication, I have two flavors. One is inter-server token and auth server token. It is depends upon your backend implementation. You can choose it. My backend implementation is an inter-server one. So I am selecting an inter-server token. So it will ask you for your authentication URL and the request body and what kind of authorization it is having. So this is my login URL and this is my request, the username and password, and authorization is a bearer one. So on the right hand side you can see it the script what will do is like it will take your login credential and will lead to your login API, and it will take your token and save it in the session and pass it to all the APIs. This is all about this script is doing. It is very simple script and easily can be modified by a non-technical person also. You can see it like if it is your implementation is not a token, you can change it over here, and other kind of variables you can add it here. It is an editable one and user friendly. So once I have added my authentication, I am going to save this authentication now. So now it is loading to the Secura. You can see that script successfully loaded, and you can see the option like the authentication is success one. So now I am going to hit a run and scan. What it will do is like it will perform the scanning based on authentication. It will get an access to all the APIs. So it is performing the active scan now. So you can see that the green color, which is a token which is passing to all the APIs. Okay, it has taken 14 seconds to complete the scanning, and it is showing high 4, medium 19, and low none, and informational as 3, and the vulnerability summary is saying a list of endpoints having the issues, and I would like to show you on the broken authentication. So the token header and payload have been compromised, exposing sensitive information. So what is saying that this endpoint having the vulnerabilities and performing some base 64 decode and able to find the data secure as is visible. You can see it, right? So what is saying that the token was able to decode using this attack and able to find transparent data visible. So what you need to do is strongly recommended encryptioning the header and payload to ensure the security. This solution is given by the Secura for this. And I would like to show it to you a demo on the connectors. Yes, we have a connectors option where you can either you can connect to your Mule server or AWS server directly. What it will do is it will connect to your server and with your credential, and it will download the spec to Secura directly. So now I'm getting into connectors Mule server. So this is a Mule server into screen with MFA enabled. You can select it. If it is not, you can give your credential directly. My backend implementation is MFA enabled one, and I'm clicking giving my client ID and client secret. The environment is sandbox one. I'm clicking on the next. So it is connecting to Mule server and displaying the application. So you can see that Secura API test is a application which is running on Mule server. It is displaying in your Secura dashboard. So now I'm clicking on next. What is doing, like it is downloading a spec from the Mule server and performing the specification validation now. So this is a host. You can see the host, right? Okay, now I'm going to hit a run a scan option. So it's performing the scanning now. So it has taken 13 seconds to complete this, and I think it is not having any vulnerabilities on high and medium, and it has showing low and information as one. So this is all about these connectors on Mule. Next I would like to show it to you on the AWS connectors. Clicking on next. So I'm entering my AWS key, secret key, and stage where the API is running, and API ID and the region. Clicking on next. What it will do is like it will connect the AWS and download the spec to Secura. So it has been successfully downloaded to Secura with API specification has been verified also. And now I'm hitting a run a scan option. So now it is performing a deep active scanning, and you can see these are the endpoints are scanned by the Secura. So this is one of the live test API with more endpoints, and it will take a few more seconds more than my previous demo. So and it has found that 44 high and 7 medium and low as 10 and 4 as informational one. And I would like to show it on the first one. A client success response code was written by the server. There are 44 endpoints are having this issue. So I'm clicking on this. So what is saying, like a response code 200 was written by the server, that this indicate that the application is responding. What is saying that Secure able to find these 44 endpoints are responding without an authentication. And if you click on this API, which will show you the list of endpoints having the issues. These are the endpoints able to access without an authentication, which is responding the status as 200. So I would like to copy one of the endpoints and show it on my Postman. Okay, so You can see this 200 response code was written from these endpoints, and these are the data is getting displayed, which is a high vulnerability one. Similarly, the other points endpoints as well. So the solution given by Secura is like review the server log to check for any anomalies and related to authentication, confirm if the application authentication mechanism is properly configured and enforced, and you should be make sure that these endpoints are not accessible without an authentication. So this is all about the connectors. I would like to show it to you our advanced setting options. So this is our advanced setting options. This will keep update based on your recent threats. You can select the testing based on your backend system and database. For example, if your backend database in Oracle, you can select the database Oracle, Postgre, and MS SQL. And if you know your backend application is Spring, you can perform a Spring based scanning. So that's the end of the demo. Thank you all. I will hand it over to Mr. Ali.